The drive for 5, looking for a 5th consecutive PIAA championship. And Scotland School, the cadets out of Franklin County in District 3, coming out of the East, and both have done so impressively, Gary, and we have gotten to know Kennedy Catholic pretty well over the years, haven't we?
When you talk about Kennedy Catholic, there's only 2 things that have really changed in their schedule this year: the name of the coach and also the name of the school. It's now Kennedy Catholic. We're so used to saying Kennedy Christian. They've been here 7 times. They've won 6 times under Joe Votino. Now they come in with new coach Tim Loomis today, a college coach who has treated this like a college program. He was a head coach at California University of Pennsylvania, also Florida Atlantic. And I was kidding with him today. I said, hey, you got to like this floor. He says, I haven't been here since we won the state championship in the PSAC, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, in college back in 1980 when they beat Millersville by 2 points in a thriller. So he said, it's the first time I've ever been back in here since then, and what a different feeling it is bringing a high school team back in here.
Well, for Scotland, they're one of the really big-time powers in the East in single A. And it's justified since 1990, Gary. Either one of these teams, 9 of the last 12 years, 11 of the last 16 years. Let's get it on. This is a great matchup. We expect this to be just a really high-level, above-the-rim type of game. Boys single A this year, Gary, across the state, a lot of people have been very impressed with the quality of play. It really has been something this year.
3 out of 5 times Scotland's won when they've come here. Gerald Wilson has become a legend at Scotland. Scotland School for Veterans Children, a beautiful little place located up north of Chambersburg. And this team not only possesses great speed, but they also possess outstanding shooting ability. Jed, I think this is one of the best shooting Scotland teams I have ever seen. And they've had some good ones over the year. Remember Thornton, who went and played football at West Virginia some years ago, a pretty good club then. But this team, most of the times we think of Scotland as being a great conversion team, defense to offense with speed. This team can pull up and hit the jump shot with the best of them, and the Davis guys on this team really get it done. Though they're not related, certainly 2 outstanding players. Charles Davis, with over 2,000 points coming to this game, will be a factor here today.
I saw them in the Eastern Final on Tuesday night, and they held their poise very well, got past a very good Lebanon Catholic team, a District 3 rival, who was the 3rd place finisher in the District 3 behind Your Country Day. And you know, Scotland is just one of these teams, Gary, you mentioned they can create offense with defense, and Charles Davis and Terrence Davis, they're not related, but you can't tell they're related very much. They're in sync on this basketball floor, and they're going to be really something for Kennedy Catholic to try and keep a handle on today.
You mentioned Charles Davis, averaging over 20 points a game for this club, over 2,000 points in his career, and certainly an outstanding guy, being looked at by a lot of Division I schools right now, like Coppin State, Towson, Ryder, St. Joe's, but also the other Davis not to be overlooked, and that would be Terrence Davis, who's averaging 16.2 points a game. He has been outstanding all season long, and both of these teams will count a little bit on their bench, although I think the edge would go to Scotland, who they play about 9 kids. Kennedy Catholic will only go with about 7 kids. Kennedy Catholic does an intriguing story with Tim Loomis stepping in, and here he is at the chance of making history, the only team to ever win 5 in a row. Right now they're tied with Carlisle with 4 in a row. And here's a guy who comes in his first year, and he's sitting on kind of the hot seat that way. They're used to winning this game every time they come here. And Tim Loomis has had to make some changes from really a high school program to a college-type program, which is where he's lived.
Gary, our partner on the sideline today, 2 weeks ago, he was doing swimming and diving. Today, he doesn't have a pool in front of him. We're delighted to have Mike Conti working with us down from State College, Pennsylvania. How you doing, Mike?
I'm glad we're indoors, I'll tell you
it's
that.
cold
Jim.
out, isn't it, buddy?
It is cold out.
Come on in, Mike. The water's just
after
fine.
that state, yes. Yeah, well, after state football, boy, I'm very happy to be indoors in Hershey. What's the Scotland School? A lot of people from the western part of the state, such as myself, really don't know the answer. What is the Scotland School? Well, I'll tell you, it's a veteran school, or actually a school for the children of war veterans. The only eligibility requirement is you have to be a resident of Pennsylvania and obviously a child of someone in the military. Scotland School located in central Pennsylvania, playing out of the East bracket. As you mentioned, Jed, you've seen them already. Obviously a very athletic team, as we've seen in this shoot-around. But a team that is comprised of a lot of people from around the state, and sometimes you get chemistry issues. Gary mentioned Kennedy Catholic under the new coach this year. Both coaches, interestingly enough, said coming into this building today, they don't feel much different playing in an atmosphere like this with the deep backgrounds, the high ceilings, stuff like that. They say at this stage of the game, it really doesn't matter. Although we have seen in previous games, sometimes coaches tend not to tell the truth about that kind of thing.
This will be Scotland's 3rd game in this building. They had 2 in the District 3 playoffs, and they had 1 about a week ago in the Eastern semifinals. So they're fairly familiar with their surroundings. It's interesting when you string together as many state championships as Kennedy Catholic does. The guys kind of changed. The Reimold name is very prominent. We saw John Reimold when this whole thing began back in 1998, Gary, 99. And now Nolan has taken the mantle. He is just a fabulous talent for Kennedy Catholic.
Well, I'll tell you how tough this Kennedy Catholic team is. I was talking to Tim Loomis today, their head coach, and Nolan Reimold had 30 points the other night in their semifinal win. And after the game, Tim Loomis said, hey, he had 30 points, but his defense stunk. And he told him, he said, you played terrible defense. This is a coach that wants defense played a certain way, and even though this team's won 4 championships, he says defense isn't being played quite as hard as he'd like it played, and he's looking for a great defensive effort in this club today. But you look at the name Reimold, Nolan Reimold coming in here today, certainly an outstanding player, 18.8 average, 7.8 rebounds a game, 124 assists for the season, 25 three-pointers. And there's a Seamus Reimold, a freshman, in here as well, who has had a pretty good season as well, and he won't figure in as much this afternoon, but a name to be looked at in the future as the Reimolds continue to move on. And of course, John Reimold, here a few years back, part of a state championship team. One of the guys we're going to talk about a lot today, Dan McElhaney. His dad is one of the assistant coaches on this team, averaging 19.3 points a game, Jed. 105 three-pointers this year, 225 in his career at Kennedy Christian. This guy can light it up from the outside. Strangely enough, Nolan Reimold and Dan McElhaney are the only 2 guys in this team that are allowed to shoot the 3-ball from the outside, according to Tim Loomis. So it will be a very interesting offensive look again here this afternoon. One of the big differences you also see with Kennedy Christian today, Jed, you will not see the motion that we have become so used to with Kennedy Christian on offense over the years. It'll be a much more college-type look where it'll be set plays throughout the day. 4 sets of set plays, 4 different kinds of series, and it'll be interesting to watch those unfold today with a team that we've become used to seeing here, but maybe a little bit different look from Kennedy Catholic.
Well, let's go now. We talked with Tim Loomis beforehand, and here's how he sees this thing shaping up this afternoon.
The key to this game is control the tempo of the game, slow down their quickness, and again, we use our physical strength and conditioning to offset their quickness. And again, their defense is quick and aggressive, but yet there's ways to alleviate that pressure, and we need to do that.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. Catch you down.
So there's Tim Loomis. You mentioned with a college background, he had to make an adjustment to that kind of schedule. He's dealing with high school kids here, and it's great to have a college background, but he had to kind of back off the pedal somewhat.
Well, actually, he did. He actually came in, he demanded that they come to his standard, which is kind of odd when you think you got a team here that won 4 straight state championships. They had a tough time coming to that standard, too, for a while, until they played St. Edwards out in Cleveland, a team that made it to the Ohio Finals this past week. And they lost by 2. And he said after that, his kids came together and they realized they were going to have to win his way. And the way he has approached this, Jed, is he's taken it on like a college job. He basically is the head of development now at Kennedy Catholic. And he said, I love what I'm doing. He said, but it's very similar to a college job. And he says, I'm treating it like that. And my kids are learning a college system. So he's had a lot of guts when you think about stepping in there and really forcing a team that won 4 straight state championships in a very successful program. They've won 6 of 7 times in here, to now go and do it his way. And he's proved he can do it his way and get here again.
Well, let's now get Jerry Wilson, I believe, the head coach at Scotland. We just heard from Tim Loomis, the head coach of Kennedy Catholic. Let's check out Jerry Wilson right now, the head coach at Scotland, and his keys here.
An extremely physical team, and they're very intelligent. I think we've got to somehow keep them off the boards so we can rebound. And then with our good defense, hope they miss some shots so we can run.
All right. To the point. What's he talking about, Gary?
Well, I had a chance to coach against Jerry Wilson a few years ago, one of the great men in the game of basketball. As is Tim Loomis, I might add, who I got to know when he was at California. And Jerry Wilson's a guy that lives on the speed game. He loves transition. He loves fast breaks. Don't get confused and think that it's helter-skelter. It's not. It's very well designed. And his team has very good patience in the half court. But they have hurry-up type offense. When they see it, they can slow it back when they need to. And the key this year, they can light you up from the outside like nobody I've seen in a long time from a Scotland school. But I think it's a really interesting matchup, an intriguing matchup this afternoon, in that you have size and rebounding for Kennedy Catholic, who has not really been out-rebounded all year long. On the other side for Scotland, they want to use that speed Kennedy Catholic, can they slow them down? On the other side, Scotland, can they outrun them? It's going to be a really intriguing matchup here when we get ready to start this game in a few minutes.
Well, Scotland won their last state championship in 1995 against Juniata Valley, winning convincingly so, 73-42. They won the year before against Duquesne, 45-43. Well, for Kennedy Christian, this run began in 1998 when they beat Reading Holy Name by 3, 51-48. They tied Carlisle's record of 4 consecutive PIAA state championships last year with a resounding 87-45 victory against Fairfield. Their only loss, a bit of a controversy. I remember this game against Lourdes in 1990. It was a little bit of a tip-in issue at the end. They lost to Lourdes 55-54, but that's the only time they've lost in this thing.
Well, that's a game where Joe Votino stood up and got hit with a technical as he was beckoning to his kids, and he got hit with a tee, and it was a very controversial one. It's the only one they've ever lost here, as you mentioned. And if you're a coach, not a terribly popular one, but the referee made the right call. Those were the rules that were going by, and that's what they did. You know, one of the things you can look for this afternoon, I think early, changing defenses may well be a storyline in this game, Jed, as I think Tim Loomis is going to come out playing man-to-man, but you'll see him go to a 2-3 matchup zone in the 3-2. On the other side, Jerry Wilson likes to go with zone traps and man-to-man. It'll be an interesting game as we get ready to saddle up.
Soon we're going to go to Bob Schellenberg for the introduction of the starting lineups. Delighted to bring you exclusive live coverage throughout this weekend of the 2002 PIAA State Championships. I'm Jed Donahue, the coach. Gary Sutton, Mike Conti's down the way a little bit. We'll be hearing from him from time to time throughout this single A final. Kennedy Catholic going for an unprecedented 5th consecutive PIAA State Championship this afternoon, but standing in their way are the cadets of Scotland. They're very, very good. They're very athletic. We expect to see this game played at an extremely entertaining level for you here this afternoon. And for the introduction of the starting lineups, we're going to be going to Bob Schellenberg here momentarily. This has been one of the most anticipated matchups on the weekend card coming up. Here's Bob Schellenberg.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the sweetest place on earth and the historic Hershey Park Arena. It's the 2002 PIAA Basketball Championships. In today's game, to determine the boys Class A champion, representing the West, their record 27-4, the Golden Eagles from Kennedy Catholic High School. Their opponent, representing the East, a record of 31-3, the Cadets from the Scotland School for Veterans Children. And now let's meet the starting lineups. First of all, for Kennedy Catholic, head coach Tim Loomis, assistants George Burich and Rick McGee. Here is the starting 5 for the Golden Eagles. Starting at point guard, 6-foot senior number 12, Dan McElhinney. At a guard, a senior 5'10", number 22, Corey Whitway. At a guard, wearing number 30, senior 6'4", Nolan Rimo. At a forward, 6'3", senior number 14, Phil Doyle. And at the other forward, 6'4", junior number 24, Raymond Truxon. The Golden Eagles from Kennedy Catholic. And now let's bring out the starting 5 for Scotland. Head coach Jerry Wilson, assistant coach Randy Taylor. Here is the starting 5 for the Cadets. Starting at a guard, he's a junior, 6 foot even, Malik Parker. Starting at the other guard, wearing number 25, 5'8" senior, Mike Chapman. At a forward, 6'4" senior, number 23, Terrence Davis. At the other forward, 6'3", number 33, senior, Charles Davis. And starting at center, a 6'2" senior, number 45, Altoro Hall. Your championship officials will be Tom Biden, Bob Timlin, and Mike Ognoski. ask that you please rise for the presentation of our country's colors, being presented today by the 941st Air Force Junior ROTC from Marion Center High School, consisting of cadets Kathy Levan, Ben Eisenhart, Tyler Bennett, and Amanda Vatter. Ladies and gentlemen, our country's colors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we honor America with the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Boys Single A final. Delighted to have you with us on Pennsylvania's Championship Network. PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. And if you're a high school sports fan, you're going to love the Pennsylvania Cable Network. In May and June, the statewide service features springtime carriage of track and field volleyball. There are the starting lineups right there. Terrence Davis, Charles Davis, the two big keys for Scotland. You're going to like Malik Parker, one of their guards as well, and McElhaney and Nolan Reimold. And big Phil Doyle is a football recruit to Southern Illinois for Kennedy Catholic, and he likes to rub it in there a little bit.
I think if we were looking at one issue this afternoon, Jed, that we haven't talked about so far in the matchup between these two teams would be free throw shooting. If you look on the one side with Scotland, the best free throw shooter on the team is Charles Davis at 72%. After that, you can't find anyone else who's really in the mid-60s, 61%, 60%, 59. On the other side for Kennedy Catholic, 91% for McElhaney, 82% for Dan Harris, 68% for Phil Doyle, 69% for Nolan Reimold. You get the idea. The only one out there, Ramon Truxton, is the one that's at 48%. Other than that, free throw shooting could be a factor here today, and it would actually statistically side with Kennedy Catholic.
Terrence Davis will jump with Ramon Truxton, and it is controlled by Kennedy Catholic. Here comes Reimold right away, taking it up, missed everything. Scotland will run at every opportunity, and McElhaney is right there with the intercept.
One of the things that Tim Loomis talked about was defensive conversions today. His team's got to get back quickly, and you saw why right there as Scotland transitions so quickly into the other end. Now watch for the set plays.
Down low, Reimold, easy. That was a heck of a feed by Truxton in there.
Nice job at a back screen. Reimold came right off, handled it, laid it in. Beautiful play out of the set piece.
Just snapped a baseball pass in there. Opening moments.
You're seeing right here is a 2-3 matchup zone. What you're doing is you're matching up in 5 different areas. You're going to see them trap in the corner. When the ball touches the corner, they'll trap.
Davis for 3, short. Doyle clears for Kennedy Catholic. Here come the Eagles. Reimold drives, give and go to Truxton, scores. Well, they've exchanged assists.
keys for them in this game is to run cautiously and then get back quickly on the other end to stop the fast transition break by Scotland. And here you see that matchup zone.
Parker drives baseline, give it up. Terrence Davis. Doyle's got another rebound.
So far, it looks like the matchup has really confused Scotland at this point in the game.
Reimold, 16-footer.
Timeout. You really need a timeout if you're Gerald Wilson. He's going to try to weather it here.
Davis, long three. Again, they're 1 and out now in this early going.
Reason is they can't get the ball inside at all against the matchup, but they're really not sure exactly what they're looking at.
Reimold intercepted, and here comes Terrence Davis with it.
Here's where they live, in the transition game.
Parker, open look on the left baseline. Rebound, battle for, back up by Hall, and the tip is good.
And that's something that will trouble Coach Loomis on the other side, as they are not used to having people get second shots on them. 2 extra shots there to put it back home for the first 2 points of the game for Scotland.
Terrence Davis, it's 6-2 as Scotland weathering an early storm.
This is the first year McElhaney's really been the point guard. Other years he's always been a shooting guard, and now he's adding the responsibility of handling the ball.
He knows how to get it done from there off the back of the iron. Doyle, give and go to Truxton.
Well, you got to love the unselfishness, the way they hand the ball off, easy passes, and it forces Gerald Wilson to call a timeout for Scotland.
5:17 left in the first, and Kennedy Catholic just getting to the spot on the floor. They're beating Scotland there, especially in that low post. Truxton, he's got some big-time moves. Everybody's been talking about Reimold and McElhaney, but I'll tell you, Truxton's impressive, at least here early.
So many times you got 2 great players like Reimold and McElhaney, as we see the huddle there of Tim Loomis. A guy like Truxton becomes a star because all the heat's taken off, and he's recipient of a lot of easy shots.
Let's go down to Mike Conti. Mike?
Well, one other aspect of Kennedy Catholic, Reimold got hurt in the, West Final. Hurt his ankle in the first half, came back. Coach Loomis said although he was a liability on defense with that injured ankle, offensively he was just fine. Scored 19 points in that second half, ended up with 30. Right now, it would appear as though his ankle's not bothering him at all.
They got through Monessen, the District 7 champ, in the West Final on Tuesday, 69-64. Monessen, very good club.
They're extending this time. See a little trap, showing different looks here to Scotland.
Here's Chapman, unloads a 3, left it short, tipped by Jones. Hall follows and draws the foul.
Foul
Over
looks
the
like
back on Whitway.
Foul should be on Reimold here as he grabbed the left arm. And there it is. So far, Scotland's doing a wonderful job of getting inside position on the offensive glass. And that's been the trend here in the early part of the game. And if you see Coach Tim Loomis sitting over there in the blue shirt, he's saying, we're supposed to be inside of them.
Altoro Hall, a 59% foul shooter. Kind of rushes things in there. 6'2" junior.
Scotland faithful, a little superstition down here, crossing their arms on every free throw. Better try something else.
Nice rebound by Terrence Davis. Tight quarters and then intercepted by McElhaney. He's off to the races. One man to beat Chapman. Underhand good. And a foul.
What you've got to love about McElhaney is the nose for the basket and getting it done and finishing. You know, so many players go up and they don't respect the finish. McElhaney's a guy who went in strong. Look at the body. 19.3 points a game this season, and McElhaney anticipated the steal, went down court, laid it in, and now goes to the line for a chance to finish a three-point play. And if you wanted the guy at the line on this team, it would be McElhaney, 91% for the year.
Going to play at Eastern Michigan in the Mid-American Conference. In Ypsilanti, right outside of Ann Arbor.
What those made shots do for Kennedy Catholic is allow them to set up their defense and get back.
Nice move by Davis. Sweeps in with a left hand.
Whew. Big time move that time by Terrence Davis as he switched hands in midair and laid it nicely off the glass.
Eagles with the ball, working on a 7-point lead. Whitway.
So UCLA cut off the high post. Now they'll screen the other side and have McElhaney pop out and then look inside.
Reimold looking Truxton. Now Doyle goes through. Tried to overpass. Doyle's not, he's a football guy in there. He does a lot of the grunt work. Davis running the break and a foul on Whitway. That'll be his first. And Davis He can really fill that lane, Gary. I mean, he is just a blur by our table here.
There you see Gerald Wilson, the head coach of Scotland. He's got to like
right.
what he saw in that play as Charles Davis with a beautiful backhanded bounce pass to Terrence Davis coming down the floor. Ball went out of bounds off Scotland, and so it comes to Terrence Davis underneath.
Jamal Ruffin, number 53 on your screens, only a freshman. What a future he has. Here's Davis off the set piece for three, rattled out. Ruffin battling in there, and Reimold guards it as it goes out of bounds to give it back to Kennedy Christian.
Game of the boards.
Kennedy Catholic, excuse me. I knew I was going to do that.
We'll all do it a few times today, but Kennedy Catholic, here comes Scotland with some press. It's not their big-time press. It's just kind of a soft press to make it be slow coming up the floor. So far, Scotland's won the war of the boards, but the war of the score is 11-4, Kennedy Catholic.
Reimold driving. Nice intercept. Here's Ruffin, that freshman I was telling you about. Gary, Malik Parker.
Outstanding.
Back the other way here for the Cadets. Terrence Davis going to fire up a long three. Left that short. Rebound Doyle. I've got him for about 4 rebounds here early. He sets screens. He's just a blue-collar guy.
Well, you take a look at those arms. You don't want to get too near those when you're going for a rebound or on a screen like this. He tried to lean into it that time.
He's lucky he wasn't called for a moving screen or a foul on that. Here's Reimold. Good defense here by Scotland. Here comes Truxton working, and it's tipped away. Cadets are off on the turnover with Jason Peterson. Peterson still alive. Give and go for Davis, and Doyle's got the steal. Ferocious pace.
Tell you what, when he has the ball in his hands, you're not taking him out, so you might as well get out of town.
Reimold wide open for three. Rushed it. Comes back to him. Now Doyle's going to fire a 16-footer. But again, it's on a string. It comes right back to him. Here's Reimold, drives baseline, got too far underneath. Ball still on the deck, and finally Peterson gets it out of there. And here comes Scotland.
For Kennedy Catholic, every time down, they want to harness that speed like they're doing at the moment.
Nice duck under move by Davis. Terrence looks strong in the first quarter, doesn't he?
Good ball fake, step underneath, lay it off the glass. Both Davises really handle the ball very well. Scotland pulls within 5.
Both these teams can explode. Gary, it'll be a game of runs. We'll keep track of it.
Trying to post up Reimold on the far side. Now it swings. Back and set it up again.
McElhaney leaves it Whitway for three.
What reversal of the basketball
They're only
will
gonna
do
give
for
him
your
2.
offense as they swing it side to side and catch Whitway on the far side with a nice solid shot out of their offense.
Well, they say his foot was on the line, so it's a 7-point lead for Kennedy Catholic.
It's a 2-3 matchup. Basically what you're doing is playing man-to-man in 5 different areas of the floor as you see players going through, and the whole idea is the offense defense will take the look of the offense.
Davis springs free off a screen, and it goes over. Back to Kennedy Catholic. Well, both coaches will substitute freely. Scotland maybe more than Kennedy Catholic. Into the game is Lamar Anthony, a 5'9" junior, and also in is going to be back in as Mike Chapman.
Scotland will go about 9 deep in the game as far as depth. On the other side, Kennedy Catholic, really only about 7 players will rotate.
Scotland with a record of 31-3. Kennedy Catholic 27-4, but what? 17 in a row since losing to St. Ed's?
Yep.
Who's playing this weekend in the Ohio finals.
Tim Loomis looked to that loss, 61-59, as the turning point in their season when he thought his kids got serious about his way of doing things.
You better be serious to be able to hang around St. Ed's. This is a team that 3 years ago had a starting lineup that included Sam Clancy of USC and Steve Logan of Cincinnati.
Now what Gerald Wilson has done here is he's starting to send players through. He's running his man offense against the matchup. He realizes what it is and trying to confuse them on bump points where they let men off to another area.
Davis drives through, got a little bit too off the angle. And McElhaney back the other way. McElhaney pushes. And the rebound to Chapman.
Not a good shot by McElhaney, and they're going to pay for it.
Leaking out, Terrence Davis.
That's what Scotland's so good at, making you pay for a mistake or a poor shot, and that's exactly what happened there with McElhaney with a poor decision.
Final seconds here of the first quarter. And a couple of seconds left. Doyle to set a screen. Long three, rattles out. Timeout on the floor. We've come to the end of one quarter of play with our score, 13-8. Kennedy Catholic leads by 5 in the drive for 5, a 5th consecutive PIAA championship. And over 141 cable systems representing 2.9 million homes and 9 million state residents. That's today's television audience for the 2002 PIAA Basketball Championship Finals here from Hershey. And a big hello to all the family, friends, and fans in the Commonwealth associated with this 2002 PIAA State Basketball Championship. Let's go back to Mike Conti. Mike?
Well, you would think being here now for the 5th time in a row, this would get to be a pretty old hat for Kennedy Catholic. Indeed it is. Coach Loomis mentioned to us earlier, his team's pretty loose. They feel confident, they feel comfortable. On the other end of the floor, Jerry Wilson has a pretty young team. He mentioned to us earlier, although his team has been here before, albeit about 10 years ago, his team feels a little tight. They feel the pressure a little bit more. And evidence of that in the first quarter, I think you could say, guys. Scotland looked pretty tight there in the first.
Not handling their passes particularly well and bobbling around and so forth. But I think toward the end of the quarter, you saw a little bit more of the Scotland team we're used to seeing like this in transition, getting the ball down the floor off a missed shot by McElhaney, and you see Davis laying it in.
He's got to lay to their points. I didn't mean to cut you off, and here he is getting out on the break. He's like Gary, 4 for 9 in the first quarter, and everybody else 0 for 5.
Yeah, he's a finalizer. Now here you go. You're watching Scotland really send people through. You're going to see a lot of cutting because we have what we call bump points in here. Now Kennedy Christian showing you a little different look now. See, they match up to an area.
A long jumper that time by Lamar Anthony. Scotland's got the follow with Terrence Davis. Boy, he's been a monster. He's got 10 points, all 10 Scotland points.
Offensive glass and stickbacks have been big here in the first half for Scotland, and it's got to be driving Tim Loomis crazy. His team prides itself on their defensive rebounding.
Bill Doyle coming out to set that high post screen. They're trying to get McElhaney loose. Drives baseline, uses the shoulder. Truxon on the easy putback.
McElhaney showed you some good change of pace dribbling, then tossed up kind of a tough shot, but Truxon played offensive volleyball on the other side and laid it in.
Give it up inside. Nice turnaround by Ruffin.
What an athletic move by Ruffin to keep his pivot foot down, turn around and find the basket and nail it home.
He's just a baby, only a freshman. What a future.
You're starting to see this game round into a real gem right now. Both teams starting to get into the flow of what they want to do.
Well, Jerry Wilson, the head coach of Scotland, he's gotten everybody sweat. He's gotten everybody in for a little action from behind the block. Long outlet for Davis, and just kind of playing defensive back as Dan Harris to tip it out of bounds from behind for Kennedy Catholic.
You want to talk about depth? Here's Jerry Wilson sending 3 new guys into the game again. He's not afraid to rotate 8 or 9, which is somewhat of a luxury in the kind of game he'd like to play. But if he can't get the full court running game all the time, he can't wear you down like he'd like to with those number of people coming in and out and that kind of depth.
Do you worry about chemistry, or with a set rotation, does things get a little too out of kilter, running guys in and out?
His chemistry is what it's been all year. It's been 9 people, so that's the chemistry that he's used to. So he's saying, no, that's our chemistry. On the other side, a little bit tighter to the vest with Tim Loomis and 7 players rotating for Kennedy Catholic. There's a 2-3 matchup. And really what you have to do is get some offensive movement against that. Good screen on the ball.
McDavis underneath, draws the foul. Truxon took a pounding in there.
What Scotland has started to do against that is we see Truxon a little slow coming up. They like to screen on the ball, and here you'll see it.
Well, this was bang in here, Gary.
Yep. Looks like both players okay. As they screen on the ball, and Davis went hard to the basket.
It's like the left foot went out. Watch it again here. Oof.
Oh, man. And Truxon came
hurts.
right down in the rear end with not a chance to break his fall. And the wrist.
He's still favoring it over there as we watch him.
You have to remember, this wood is laid on ice here, so there's not a whole lot of cushion underneath. When you hit that thing, it is hard and cold.
Charles Davis to the line. Davis on the year, a 72% foul shooter. 19.7 points per game. That's his first of the day. You were saying Coppin State and others looking?
Coppin State looking at him. Towson University looking at him. Ryder over in New Jersey, and also St. Joe's in Philly. So he's got a nice array of schools looking at him right now. And I like the kid. I like the way he plays the game. Watch his legs here. He has a relatively flat shot, but he lifts it just enough every time to get that good smooth stroke.
Scotland back to within one.
Here comes some serious press from Scotland. No, they'll back off again. Showing you good man-to-man pressure, but this isn't their A game that they're bringing as far as defense. This time a 1-4 set. Watch UCLA cut.
That's Wellman, got a whistle away from the ball underneath. Might be Chapman reaching in for Scotland. They'll come over to the table and make it official. That's Chapman's second. And back comes Jason Peterson for the Cadets.
That's what we call a UCLA cut, Jed. Basically what happens is they look like a 1-4. The near side post steps up, screens for the guard after he passes off the wing, goes through, and then they try to set some screens either on the strong side or the weak side.
Reimold off a screen, in and out, rebound, Davis. Leaves it Chapman. Little push to Peterson, back to Chapman, and a foul from behind. Dan Harris got him for Kennedy Catholic, and then nice tic-tac-toe passing on the break here.
Well, that's blinding speed. I mean, that is blinding speed, and that's the transition game that Tim Loomis was worried about. Take a look. You miss a shot. Look what you get. You are paying for it with a foul and trying to retreat on the other end to get back and play defense.
So that puts Peterson to the line to shoot two. That's his first.
Peterson only a 60% free throw shooter for the year, but nails his first shot here. He'll get another one.
Doyle rebounds for Kennedy Catholic. Here's Reimold working.
You cannot hesitate in this game. Everyone's interested.
They're going to come after you.
Man-to-man defense by Scotland. Little walk.
Not sure of Kennedy Catholic. They've seen a lot of great teams this year. Their losses: Newcastle, George Junior Republic, Farrell, St. Ed's out of Cleveland. I think they're having some problems adjusting to the speed of Scotland.
They scrimmaged George Junior Republic the other day to kind of get ready for this. They wanted to try to simulate the speed, and it's tough to simulate this speed, but that was their best that they had in the area. And
nice of George Junior to come out.
Yeah, come out
off season. Here's Davis in the corner.
Scotland's getting into a frame of mind here where they've become the aggressor, and Tim Loomis senses it too. I think you're going to see a timeout if Scotland comes down and nails them again.
10-2 run to start the second quarter for the Cadets to take the three-point lead. McElhaney threw a Doyle screen, goes all the way, missed it. Hall rebounds, leaking out. Here comes Parker. One man to beat. Harris good.
I don't have a timeout.
20-15, 4:44 left in the second. Gary, you have said all along over the years that to stop a run, you'd use all your timeouts if you had to.
Yeah, you're only going to play this game one time. I mean, I think I used two in the first 2 minutes of the game. We were down 9-2 in 1987. I was asked after the game how many more would have used. I said all four of them if we didn't need to. The game was being decided right there. You can't allow long runs in a game like this, and Tim Loomis is savvy enough to know that he's got to shut down the running game right now of Scotland, because his team is forcing their offense on one end. They're not able to score, and when you can't score, you immediately are retreating into defense. You're not able to set your defense, and that's a big problem for his team right now.
Well, Scotland has gotten back into this game a little bit by using their defense to create offense, Gary.
Big time defense to create offense. 3 turnovers so far have translated into 5 points on the other end for Scotland. No points thus far for Kennedy Catholic. Scotland again picking up that full court man-to-man pressure, just shading, not really denying. What they're trying to do, though, subtly, is wear down Kennedy Christian by always putting pressure in the backcourt and making them work to get the ball up floor.
So Kennedy Catholic maintains possession. You've done it once, I've done it once. Should we we got to keep tabs. We'll try.
We're sorry, it's our one mistake. Kennedy Christian, we know, is not the name of the school anymore. It's Kennedy Catholic, but
we're used to seeing them up here in Hershey.
Well, it's been on the championship banners for a few years, like 6 out of 7 times they've come here in the last 4 in a row. And I knew this would be a problem this afternoon, Jen.
You hear a lot of talk it's tougher to win 4 Quad A championships like Carlisle did than 4 Single A championships. I think that's just craziness. I think winning any championship's tough enough, let alone 4. I don't care what level.
That's a bunch of malarkey. You know, we've got great basketball in a lot of different classes in this state. And I think to win in the state of Pennsylvania is one of the toughest runs you can have anywhere because you got to win 9 to 10 games to get here.
With a McElhaney drives through and a charging foul as Davis had his feet planted. Well, this is what you do to get the charge. Davis slides over to the spot.
Well, he just got there ahead of time, and the charge called, so it was very, very close. One of the toughest calls in the game, I think. You know, coming back to that point that you made, that Jed, about the state championships, it's so tough in Pennsylvania. You got to win 9 games to win this championship. Most other states, you're going 3, 4, 5 games to win it. Here, it's 9. You know, any class you want to pick in Pennsylvania, it's tough, not just Quad A.
Scotland working on a 5-point lead as Davis sets up deep in the corner. McElhaney clears. Ahead for Dan Harris. Reimold really struggling along that baseline, turns it over again.
Here's the problem right now for Kennedy Catholic. They're trying to run with Scotland. They don't realize it right now. They're trying to run with Scotland. Instead of setting up their plays, they're trying to finish things off, and they're not really sure how to do it. Scotland, they thrive on finishing off the speed play.
You got to be careful not to get flashed out by the pace early.
Yeah, you're already into the pace right now, and your job is to slow Scotland down in this kind of game if you're Kennedy Catholic, and on the other end, not get caught up in running in Scotland's kind of game.
Terrence Davis got 10 points. Parker. See, this is why Scotland's here, is they're able to really slow it down when they have to. Davis got too far underneath. Terrence Davis follows. They're still tipping at it. Charles Davis a 3rd time.
Right there's another reason they're here, too. Offensive rebounding. Wow. Even though they don't score here, they keep the ball alive on the glass.
Here comes Reimold.
See if Kennedy Christian pulls it out this time, resets.
McElhaney's got 103 threes on the year, make it 104.
See the difference? They stop, they look back to the outside, they found their big man, and he nails a 3 for him. That was good, solid basketball for Kennedy Christian.
To get them back to within 2 here in the waning moments of the first half. Long shot is good.
There's the difference of the Scotland team this year. They can bury the outside shot on you. Good reversal of the basketball.
Lamar Anthony straightens up. This game being played at the level I thought. That's just excellent basketball in Single A in this state this year. And these are clearly the 2 superior teams in both the East and the West, needing to settle it here for a gold medal.
They're looking to post Reimold up down the inside. There he is.
Back on McElhaney. Got an open look again. You've got to get a hand in his face out there. If he can set up, you're done.
Jed, you can never leave him to help, and that's exactly what they're doing by getting the ball into Reimold's hands. They suck the defense in from the weak side, and the moment that they see it, they kick it right back to McElhaney. It's like a layup.
A 3-point layup, though.
2 of them the last 2 times down.
Driving through, good, and a foul. Nice move by Jason Peterson. His first field goal. He now has 3 on the game and a chance at a 3-point play.
I actually thought Peterson shuffled his feet that time before he got. Watch his feet here. Let's see if he walks.
I don't think so, Gary.
There it is. 1, 2, 3. Let's take a look at it one more time. Watch. Here he picks it up. 1, 2, 3, and he's in. It's a walk.
It's an NBA layup.
Okay. He thought about making the layup. Hey, the officials here have done a great job in this tournament all time. No one ever said they had to be perfect, right?
Everywhere I've been. Said that in the first game today. Vincentian down Trinity for the girls AA championship, 45-37. Peterson completes the 3-point play. We'll have 2 more games tonight. Oakland Catholic, Cumberland Valley, and girls quad.
Here comes a serious press. They're face guarding now.
And a foul. It's going to be on Peterson.
Scotland smells blood in the water here. They're coming for you with a serious press. Now what they do is they turn their back to the baseline and go with what we call a face guard press. That time called for the foul, a little too aggressive. Jason Peterson nailed for the foul.
How about Scotland playing as aggressive as they have in this first half? That's only their 3rd team foul. Or 4th team foul. They didn't put it up on the board yet.
They have quick feet. You won't see them use their hands that often, except here you see it again. The same guy called for it.
Peterson again with his 2nd.
Now, we said the officials missed a call a moment ago, but here you have officials saying to them, don't put hands on body. And he's being very consistent in his call. So 2 straight calls against Peterson. You want aggressiveness, but fouling negates hustle. So you don't want to foul in trying to get that aggressive nature. Here's something different. You have remote handling, which means they're going to look for McElhaney on a pop-out shot.
They'll go through Doyle, and now they get out after him.
1:32 to go in the half. There's Remold.
Oh, nice interception by Davis. Keeps it alive.
Great anticipation defensively by Davis to come over.
Even better way of looking at it, Gary. Absolutely. Here's Terrence Davis.
Sloppy pass.
Nice steal here. Whitway all the way. Missed it. Gets it back. Turns. Missed that too. And Ruffin's got the rebound, but travels with it. And he's lucky that's not a technical. He bounces the ball out.
And there's some
in
good
frustration.
Good preventative officiating. Both officials looked at each other and they said, not in a game like this. Well, we're going to give them a little warning. They said to him, don't do that.
A Christmas tournament in December, that's probably a technical.
Yeah, maybe, but not in this one. Everybody hustling on the play. That's a big thing. Look at this.
Here comes Parker. He's free and clear.
You just cannot go to sleep for a moment. They're going to bury you in transition, and there you saw it again. They just throw that pass out and go get it. This Scotland team would be frightening to play, and this is the biggest lead in the game for them at 7 points.
Counting down the final minute of the half.
Look opposite.
There's Reimel, turns into the lane. Ruffin blocked it, and it goes out of bounds.
Ruffin doing a great job of challenging on the inside. Now they're going to say it tipped off his hand out of bounds. Good call by the official. Scotland faithful won't like that one, but I got to tell you, it was a great call. It was tipped out of bounds, but a good play by Ruffin to rise up and challenge.
Here's Reimel off the set piece. He's just a little bit off. Nice rebound by Truxton. That's big-time hustle right there.
I'll tell you what's happened with Reimel a little bit. They put a little bit of subliminal fear into his head. He's not really taking his time as we normally see and shooting the ball under his pace. Everything's a little quicker than he normally liked to do it.
He's 0 for his last 6.
Look at the defense here. We're going to look for some kind of drive here to dish off inside to Reimold or outside for a three-pointer.
McElhaney looks at the clock, leads it Reimold for a long 3. Short. Doyle follows, but he was too far under. Timeout on the floor. We have come to halftime with our score 28-21. Scotland leads by 7 in the boys single A championship. And a reminder, it's state history in the making here. The 2002 PIAA basketball championships televised across the Commonwealth on the state leader for Scholastic Sports Programming, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We'll be back with halftime highlights. Julius McCoy, I believe, is stopping by to talk with Gary. And second half action between Kennedy Catholic and Scotland. We'll have it for you after this.
You're watching live coverage of boys PIAA Championship basketball exclusively on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
The PIAA is a Pennsylvania nonprofit corporation organized on a membership basis. Membership includes most of the public and many private high schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The PIAA develops and enforces rules which are authorized by the member schools to regulate interscholastic athletic competition. The PIAA was formed in 1913 by a group of high school principals to establish uniform rules, eliminate abuses, and place interscholastic athletics in the overall context of secondary education. The purposes of the PIAA are defined in Article 2 of its Constitution. They are to organize, develop, and direct an interscholastic athletic program which will promote, protect, and conserve the health and physical welfare of all participants, to formulate and maintain policies that will safeguard the educational values of interscholastic athletics and cultivate the high standards in all interscholastic athletic competition. The PIAA believes that the student athlete is best served by a system which emphasizes the amateur, educational, and character-building aspects of high school sports, a system which recognizes that athletics is not the driving force, but rather that students are in school primarily to obtain an education. The membership of the PIAA consists of approximately 1,300 schools, divided almost equally between senior high schools and junior high middle schools. Of that membership, approximately 150 are private schools. Nearly 250,000 students participate in interscholastic athletics under the PIAA each year, placing Pennsylvania 7th in the United States for the 1997-98 school year. The four major areas in which the PIAA currently operates are the following: establishment and enforcement of rules governing the eligibility of high school athletes to participate in interscholastic athletics. These include rules for academic performance, attendance requirements, transfer students, pre-participation physical evaluations, age, and amateur status. Organizing and operating 27 post-regular season playoffs and championships in 10 girls sports, and 31 post-regular season playoffs and championships in 11 boys sports. Adopting the playing rules for each sport under its jurisdiction, with the exception of bowling, golf, girls lacrosse, rifle, and tennis. All other playing rules adopted by the PIAA are published by the National Federation of State High School Associations, of which the PIAA has been a member since 1925. Registering and training officials to officiate at contests in which the PIAA member schools participate. Nearly 13,000 officials are currently registered with the PIAA. The PIAA's principal source of revenue is the sale of tickets to its playoffs and championships. Gate receipts enable the PIAA to operate without taxpayer financing. The PIAA also provides services to its members on a day-to-day basis through its headquarters in Upper Allen Township, Cumberland County, near Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. The PIAA assists member schools and families by providing the student-athlete with opportunities for achievement.
Hello, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We're delighted to join with you in celebrating high school athletics in the Commonwealth. Everything that we do here at PCN, from our daily coverage of the General Assembly to programs exploring manufacturing, from carriage of significant Pennsylvania events to our satellite distribution across the state, all of this is made possible by Pennsylvania cable television companies which carry our network on their channel lineup. Often at PCN, we'll list the names and service areas of local cable TV providers. These are the community-minded companies which voluntarily pay a monthly fee to cover network programming and operating costs. PCN receives no state funding. We are supported instead through the generosity of cable systems which make PCN available to their subscribers. In watching high school sports on PCN, we hope you'll remember the commitment of Pennsylvania cable television companies. They're the ones that make this network and today's programming possible.
Homework Help on PCN is a live 2-hour interactive call-in program for students in grades 1 through 12.
You got to get your homework done. This is the show to watch.
State-certified teachers will work through math and science questions with students.
When two things are written side by side, what does it mean? Divide. So what I do to one side, I do to the other, and you're home free.
Homework Help on PCN airs throughout the school year on Sundays, live at 5 p.m. PIAA Basketball Championships live on PCN. Catch the excitement as girls and boys teams compete for state honors. Exclusively on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. June is a championship month on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, state leader in scholastic sports programming. Don't miss PCN's exclusive coverage of boys volleyball, high school girls spring soccer finals, and all state title games in softball and baseball. It's a complete month of gold medal contests on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. All championships air on PCN without commercial interruption. Celebrate the end of the school year on PCN with the best sports teams in the Commonwealth. When you're looking for high school state champions, turn to PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. PCN's exclusive coverage of boys PIAA championship basketball continues on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Welcome back to Hershey Park Arena, where it's halftime of the PIAA Boys Single A Championship. Scotland leading Kennedy Catholic 28-21. And let's take a look at the stats that have the big one at the top. 28-21, Scotland leads. Field goal percentage, Scotland has it better so far, 44%, as they've been able to get into that running transition game. Free throw percentages, only one time to the line so far for Kennedy, 4 out of 7 for Scotland. Three-point shooting percentage, well, not that good. Kennedy Catholic with the better of that one so far, 2 of 6 for 33%. Rebounds, though, offensive rebounds for Kennedy, 8. On the other side for Scotland, 7. 16-14, Kennedy out-rebounding Scotland, but Scotland able to get on the offensive glass pretty good in the first half. The big number, maybe, 10 turnovers so far for Kennedy Catholic, only 5 for Scotland in the game, and there were some highlights in the first half. Let's take a look at them right now. First of all, we see Kennedy Catholic coming out in the opener. Doyle with a nice pickup right here. He'll feed inside to open the game to Truxton. Truxton in for the easy layup for 2 to start the game for Kennedy Catholic. Looked pretty good until Scotland was able to get the ball on the other side in the deep corner, and here's where they lived in the first half on the offensive boards, getting the rebound, and you'll see Terrence Davis getting the ball and finally getting up there and putting it back. Good offensive rebounding all through the first half for Scotland. It's Scotland again, and it's Terrence Davis one more time with a great up and under move right here. You see the pass. Actually, this is the fake, the up and under, and the layup off the glass for Terrence Davis. Then coming back in the other direction, you reverse the basketball, and so many times good penetration will set up a three-point shot as Whitway gets it in the far corner for Kennedy Catholic and buries it. Three-pointer, not enough though here at the half as Scotland leads 28-21 over Kennedy Catholic, looking for their 5th straight championship, and right now down 7 at halftime. With me at halftime, a guy who's become a legendary player here in the state of Pennsylvania, Julius McCoy. And Julius, I know, having played pro ball, played at Michigan State over the years, you played on the first championship team at Farrell, certainly a legendary program. You've got to remember a lot of great moments with Eddie McCluskey.
Yeah, well, those are some of my better days in high school, running around with Coach Ed McCluskey, and we had good talent. We worked hard, not only during basketball season, but we worked hard over the summers to become good. So that was a tradition we had at Farrell, and it still exists.
A legendary coach, 7 championships, still the record in the state of Pennsylvania. What do you remember most about Coach McCluskey? What did he teach you about the game?
Well, I thought he was a great fundamentals and a hard worker. We worked on all the fundamentals, and he insisted, and I think it benefited not only us at that time, but in future years. And that still exists in Farrell. All the players, you see a player come from Farrell, he's fundamentally sound.
You look at this game today, what did you like in the first half?
Well, I think the teams are fairly close, although the score is not close at the present time. I think I've seen this team, they both are fundamentally sound, but I think Scotland is rebounding is a little better at the present time, and that's the difference in the ball game.
Julius McCoy, we appreciate you stopping by at halftime. Always a pleasure seeing you here at the game. And like you said, there's no place better to be than a state championship game right now.
The boys are good and the girls are good. It's a great place to be at a basketball game.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Julius McCoy, a player on the Farrell team of 1952, the first championship team of 7 for Eddie McCluskey. And now we'll get ready to start the second half. And Jed Donahue moving back into the seat here. 28-21 here at the half as Kennedy Christian down by 7, and they'll get the ball to start the second half. And back in the seat, Jed Donahue.
Talk show sometime here, Gary. Good stuff as always.
Thank you.
All right, let's keys now as we start this third quarter for Kennedy Catholic. What are we looking at as Rimo pulls up?
They got to get better shots to the inside like that. And you see them cash in on an offensive rebound with Truxton. And they got to slow this kind of thing down that happened a lot toward the end of the second quarter with Scotland able to run off misses.
Truxton now with 8 points.
Sounds simple, Jeb, but the key for Kennedy Catholic is to make shots so you can set your defense up, and Scotland's got to bring it in bounds. When they miss shots, Scotland lives off missed shots and mistakes. Now they're in that 2-3 matchup zone again. I like Scotland's patience in the half court.
With Davis, rattles home the long 3. Charles Davis now with 8 points for Scotland, and it's 31-23. An 8-point lead for the Cadets.
They give you that hint of penetration and then find Davis in the wing, and Davis is very comfortable nailing the 3 out there.
Here's Rimo, who's had all kinds of issues trying to find some kind of tempo with his game. He's 0 for his last 7 now, dating back to the second quarter.
I think Reimold is forcing it a little bit in this game, and I think he's playing faster than he can at the moment. And
Check
I think
that 0 for 9, Gary.
Scotland has done a great job of speeding him up. Now here goes Scotland with that cut-through kind of game. They're putting their man-to-man offense in against the zone.
There's Davis again.
Poor shot by Davis. Just too quick that time.
McElhaney for Whitway.
Here's where you have to slow it down and get into your half-court offense and do your set pieces.
I don't know who worked the western part of the state for Scotland, but they had pretty good scouting work for this thing.
Oh, absolutely. There's a foul.
I'll tell you, Gary, that's a tough turnaround for coaches. You find out Tuesday, you got a game Friday. They're on the opposite end of the state as we look at this again.
I think what you'll find with most coaches, Jed, is that they will go into this tournament with an attack and adjust kind of attitude. You'll attack with what you do well. You will adjust to the small things, but you don't overdo it. You might spend a little time in the classroom on it, but you're not going to overdo it because you don't want your kids thinking more about what the other team does than about what you did to get here.
Foul on Whitway, his second. Here's Terrence Davis. Little fadeaway, got too far in. Hall follows, Truxton fouls.
That is not a place for the weak of heart down in there as you look at Truxton playing big time against Arturo Hall.
He's 6'4" junior. I mean, he can really get up there, too. He has got a lot of jump to him. 31-23, 6:10 remaining here in the third. Arturo Hall, a 59% foul shooter to the line to shoot 2.
This is the one concern I'd have if I was Scotland is the free throw line this afternoon, but so far it's not really been an issue.
That's the first point for Hall. Came in averaging 2.4 points per game. Scotland will play 9 people. They'll go 9 deep. Kennedy Catholic about 7 deep on their drive for 5, but right now they're going to have to come back from 10.
67% for the line so far today for Scotland. Those 6 out of 9 as they're picking up again full court. And again, this is very subtle, but they're making Kennedy Catholic work all the time. And now they're coming to trap them a little bit at half court.
There's Reimold, tough catch, 50-50 ball and a foul on Davis, reaching across the wrist. First on Charles Davis, first team foul against Scotland.
Davis always anticipating, that time getting caught even. He wasn't that half step ahead, and you can see what happens. You get called for the foul. And then he pleads his case and don't even bother. It's not going to change.
I'll tell you, Scotland can get 0 to 50 in a big time. Yeah. What, about 3.8 seconds, Gary?
Really?
I think the speed is really something that Kennedy Catholic's trying to get adjusted to. But so far,
if you're not going to score in that post play, you've got to make sure you get it out quickly. And that time Doyle caught, and you see what Scotland does to you when you make a mistake.
They see trouble in that defensive end, and they got 1 or 2 guys running after it and running out. Scotland, biggest lead of the game of 12 with 5:38 left here in the third. And let's take this opportunity to visit with Mike Conti. Mike, how you doing?
Good, Jed. When Scotland made their initial run back in the early parts of the second quarter, it was after Truxton had that collision with Ruffin. Truxton went down hard on his right elbow and forearm. He came out of the game and only came back for the final minute of the quarter. Looked like he was grimacing and favoring that arm a little bit. They taped it up at halftime, but when he came out for the shoot-around, he immediately took the tape off. He still looks a little tentative out there, but the trainers tell me he is set to go for the second half.
Well, he sure looked good on that block shot to start the second half, I'll tell you that. Right now, Kennedy Catholic has got to find a way to get into their game plan, and I think they have really subliminally gotten caught here. As you can see what happens when they miss. That kind of action you see on your screen right there, finishing off on the other end. I haven't seen a team turn it around this fast, maybe since we saw Aliquippa a few years ago, that really had some serious speed in converting. Look at this. Trap it in half court. Again, keeping you off balance. You can't get in your offense. You got to get to the top of the key to start your offense. They've got the offense way, way out here toward half court.
Kennedy Catholic has won 4 consecutive PIAA state championships. They're in big trouble here in the early portion of the third. Trucks an underhand scoop. Hall high for the rebound to Terrence Davis.
And now the foot race.
Filling is Parker. Missed it, but Chapman gets it back. It was Chapman. Here's Davis. To Hall. Throws it up and in. Boy, they are on fire right now.
Again, the key is Kennedy Christian's not making shots. And every time right now that they take a shot, they're thinking, we've got to get back quickly. And so it's taking some of the effectiveness away on their focus on their shot-making ability.
They're on a 9-0 run to start the third quarter right now, and they're up by 14 points. McElhaney, he's going to look to cut into it. Missed it. Doyle falls down, and nobody home. Here comes Terrence Davis. Look out.
You almost need another timeout here, even though you hate to take it. You're Jim Loomis. This game's getting decided right now. The Scotland team is a well-oiled machine. Look at that again. The anticipation and stepping into the passing lanes.
Well, now they're getting that bounce to them, that excited bounce, knowing, all right, let's just bolt this baby down, up by 16 now at 39-23.
Quickness kills, I'll tell you.
Here comes Reimel driving. He's 0 for his last 9. Make it 10. Got a whistle and a foul over the back on Truxton.
That's the third foul on Truxton. He most certainly will have to come to the bench at this point. Watch the position on the inside by Scotland. Great job by Arturo Hall of getting great position. And Hall's out of the game. Jamal Ruffin will check back in for him, and so the depth factor now becomes very important. As Scotland able to continue to run people in and out of there, particularly on the inside. Truxton sits down also. We need to mention that as well.
Yeah, Gary, they brought Craig Wellman in.
And now what he's done is he's gotten them back to their man-to-man, has Gerald Wilson and Scotland.
Peterson in the corner. He's in no man's land in there. That's tough. Ball on the deck, and it goes out of bounds.
What you're seeing right here is a little Raleigh Massimino stuff. Every time the ball will touch the corner, you'll see a trap in the corner with the middle man and the baseline man if they stay in a 2-3. Take a look. Good hustle by all the players on the floor that time.
Terrence Davis, who got him really, he helped them stay in the game. They had trailed, what, early in this game by 9, 7 or 8, 9, not sure the exact number.
Just were not into
11-2 they trailed.
They've gotten this game exactly in the rhythm they want. They're pressing full court. They're keeping Kennedy Catholic out of their offensive sets by having to get trapped at half court, throw the ball over top. Now here comes Kennedy Catholic out of a double stack.
Dan Harris, the ball is kicked on the way through.
Kennedy Catholic didn't, or excuse me, Scotland didn't come up that time, Jed, and really trap right away. They let them kind of come to them, and then they come out and spring the trap on them. It really keeps you off balance on your offensive sets.
The evening session starts at 6 here on PCN. Cumberland Valley and Oakland Catholic, and then at 8, Kennett against West Mifflin. Another steal, another breakaway. Peterson on the move.
Just
not for Peterson now.
I'll tell you, it's very clear. Kennedy Catholic just not quick enough to stay with Scotland right now, and that's a plain and simple fact.
Kennedy Catholic better get something going here. The train's about ready to leave. Here's McElhaney driving baseline, and we've got a blocking foul against the Cadets of Scotland.
Looks like it'll be Ruffin, who really didn't have position along the baseline.
Ruffin's first personal foul.
But you'd expect a leader like McElhaney to try to step up and get something going for his team as he tries to go to the basket, just says, stop me or I'm going to score.
Only the second team foul. There you're looking at Jamal Ruffin, only a freshman. 6'2", what a enormous future he has. McElhaney said 91% foul shooter. Kennedy Catholic outside of Sharon, Pennsylvania and Hermitage, Mercer County.
All but in Ohio.
District 10.
You talk about a team.
Ohio is about a quarter of a mile across the bridge from there. Youngstown
Our
area.
home state.
And Warren.
You're an Ohio guy, right?
Yep.
I'm a former Buckeye. Look at this.
Good, and a foul.
Oh, he wiped
and
it
they're
out.
going to wave it out.
I think it was Dick Harder that once said, if you want to fly, join the Air Force. You want to play basketball, stay down. You're helpless when you go to this point. You go up in the air, watch this. You are helpless. And every kind of charge you're going to get usually is about one step inside the foul line, and you saw it there. Look at the speed.
They're just contesting every possession, every pass, and it's just wearing Kennedy Catholic out.
Yeah, people that are used to not seeing this kind of thing, I mean, it withers you. It just keeps on coming at you mentally as well as physically.
They're facing a major uphill climb.
It's
Down
not getting any
41-25.
easier. You think there's like 7 Scotland guys out there the way they're playing and swarming at the moment.
I've seen Scotland 4 times in the tournament, dating back into the District 3 championships, and this is easily the best game I've seen them play.
I saw them in the District 3 final when they played York Country Day, and I thought that they had a so-so second half, but they were brilliant in the first half. I really think that they're a team to be reckoned with. Obviously, that may be the simplest statement of the year.
Well, when you talk about these two programs, we said at the outset, 9 of the last 12 state championships since 1990. In 12 of the last 16 years, one or the other's been in the title tilt.
Well, now they're throwing the motion game at you. It's going to pass, cut through, look for a quick drive, look for a quick back cut. Trying to stay away from a double team. There's going to be a double team, which means there's a man open somewhere. Here it is.
Rough and give and go to Davis. Moves to the left hand. Reimold clears.
Well, they got a good shot there. Davis switched hands in midair and couldn't quite finish it off.
Comes Wellman. Pull up pop from the baseline. No good. And another rebound for Terrence Davis. And they're running at every opportunity to Charles. Reverse spin. Wow, they are just after it.
A little too much French pastry at the moment. Oh, how about that move? And then the pass.
Go to Terrence Davis.
Charles Davis gives you a little fancy Dan and then a finishing pass to the other end of the other Davis, Terrence Davis, to put it away in an 18-point lead.
The Scotland fans are on their feet. Made their way up there near the Chambersburg area. District 3.
They're a couple miles outside of Chambersburg, in fact, right next to Chambersburg Country Club.
Long three by White, no good. Reimold follows and draws the foul.
Foul should be on Terrence Davis.
Reimold brilliant in the Western Final Tuesday at 30 points in their 69-64 win against District 7 champ Monessen. We remember John Reimold a few years ago. He was part of that run out of 4 consecutive PIAA state championships.
Got Seamus Reimold coming up through as well.
Well, we remember when he was a freshman. He was seeing some quality time.
Oh, this is a program that develops big-time players. And, you know, in talking with Tim Loomis today, he said, hey, you know, I could talk to colleges, and when I say Kennedy Catholic, you think there's not a college that doesn't want to look at one of my kids? He said it has such a great reputation here, and he's exactly right.
Well, he's 6'4", and he's going to Bowling Green on a baseball scholarship. I have a feeling Dan Dockich, the head coach of the Falcons of Bowling Green, may want to have a look at him here as a walk-on.
How do you know that kind of stuff? That's frightening. That drew silence.
In it comes Terrence Davis, draws the foul.
Now what Scotland is doing is demonstrating their speed. Those cuts, they're saying, see if you can stay with us now. And here you're seeing the results of the fact that they can put 9 guys on the floor. A little bit slower, half step slower for Kennedy Catholic, trying to keep up with them. The depth is wearing them down.
Terrence Davis to the line. He's had a magnificent year, 16.2 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, a 61% foul shooter.
Not a bad stroke.
Well, he's a senior, but they've got a big-time nucleus coming in at Scotland.
Scotland doesn't rebuild, they reload.
Might have to get used to seeing them here for a while. That's the 15th point there for Terrence Davis, 16th rather. He had their first 10 of the game. He was the one that held him in. Long three by Dan White, good.
Nice job reversing the basketball quickly, and that's what you've got to do, and hit a few of those. They're the great equalizer.
Yeah, the three. You can get back in a game in a big hurry if you get warm out there.
But the key is going to be, can you reverse the ball against this team and get good, solid shots and have the good players make them?
Again, here's the discipline of Scotland that is why they're here, is they're able to really slow it down and play a disciplined pace. And they'll play for the last shot, and they'll run it right through Mike Chapman, their 5'8" senior guard.
Watch for Charles Davis shooting a 3.
How about Terrence Davis for 3? Rattled out, but draws the foul.
3 of them.
So he'll shoot 3 free throws coming up.
Those are the kind of mental errors you're not used to seeing Kennedy Catholic make in any kind of big game like this. Tim Loomis already has some gray hair. I'll guarantee you just got another white one on top of his head.
We told you Scotland in Franklin County, Pennsylvania. That's near Chambersburg, and about, I'd say what, Gary, about 25 miles from Hagerstown, Maryland, right near the Pennsylvania-Maryland line.
Exactly, about 2 miles, I think, from Chambersburg, right there off Route 81, I believe.
Yes.
And about a stone's throw, maybe a good 9-iron shot from the Chambersburg Country Club, where I like to play golf occasionally. Beautiful little campus, by the way, if you've never been there.
So these two teams right on their respective state borders.
Probably a lot of teams in the state of Pennsylvania wish they were outside of the state borders.
Yeah, there are a couple, I think, in Western PA would like to go get the Allied van and move them across over to into Youngstown.
Do a little
Catholic,
gerrymandering on some of the borders and districts.
Kennedy Catholic does play a lot of games in Ohio. You were talking about when they, rebounded. The big moment of truth this season was that loss.
St. Edwards.
It's weird talking to coaches a lot of the time about saying that was our moment of truth this season when we lost.
Well, it's because that's when you learn the most. When you lose a game like that, you learn more.
Final seconds here as Doyle gives it up. Reimold, good if it goes. In and out. It's been that kind of day for Nolan Reimold. Timeout on the floor. Scotland goes on a 19-8 blitz in the third quarter to take an 18-point lead at the end of 3. They were most impressive. Let's go down the way to Mike Conde. Mike?
Jed, both you and Gary have made a lot about the depth of these two teams. Earlier today, Tim Loomis told us his bench is only really 2 or 3 deep at the most. On the other side, Scotland has been drawing on a bit more depth here in the third quarter. As such, looking over at the Kennedy Catholic huddle right now, it just looks like a very, very tired team right there. There you see Tim Loomis in the middle of the huddle. Important to point out, Kennedy Catholic's not necessarily out of this game yet. 47-29 is quite a big deficit, but they're going to need to come up with some fresh legs here in the fourth if they're able to get back into it. Scotland, on the other hand, looks like a much more energized ball club here in the fourth quarter.
Terrence Davis, a big story in that 19-8 third quarter. Gary, why don't you explain, because we're going to see a couple of his plays.
Well, he represents, I think, what Scotland represents, which is pure speed. And what speed does to you is make you handle the ball, do things better and quicker on the run than you normally would do. And, when you get a guy that can do that kind of thing on a quick turnaround, tough to catch up. The hard thing for Tim Loomis' quarter is to sell his team, and they have to be patient, while on the other side, you're looking at that kind of thing where they're coming in very quickly for Scotland. So now you got to be patient and make every possession count like gold.
They've really missed Ramon Truxon.
Really?
Who was in foul trouble in that third quarter. He's kind of the equalizer for them in that low post. Got a whistle away from the ball, and it's a reach-in foul. Who are they looking at, Hall or Davis in there?
Looks like it might be
Terrence
Hall.
Davis. Is that who? Yeah, Terrence Davis.
2 things that you want right now if you're Kennedy Catholic. Number 1 is to score with the clock stopped, ultimately, and number 2 is to reverse the ball and try to look for threes. You've got to sell yourself on being patient every time. That's going to be tough to do against a team that forces you to play giddy up.
Driving McElhaney among the trees, swatted away, rebound, follow Wellman. His first 2.
Now for Scotland, they can afford to play the clock a little bit here. I'm not sure how well they can do that. We'll find out.
Terrence Davis following his own miss. Blocked by Wellman from behind, and a foul.
I think playing the clock for Scotland means you only get 1 offensive rebound instead of 3 on a particular play. You saw Davis going in hard right there. Good fake again. Wonderful fakes. Goes up and gets fouled on the play one more time.
So that's the 6th team foul against Kennedy Catholic.
Here's where I think if there's a weakness that Scotland has, it's their free throw shooting, but they're showing some resiliency in that department this afternoon. And Kennedy Catholic's going to make them have to beat them from the free throw line down the stretch here, even though they're only up by 17 now, make it 18. Nope.
19 now for Terrence Davis.
17-point lead for Scotland.
McElhaney's been held scoreless here in the second half. 8-11 in the first, including a pair of 3-pointers.
First the ball and find McElhaney.
Wellman blocked by Terrence Davis. Wellman kept it alive, blocked again by Davis, and a foul on Davis, I believe, again.
What they're doing now is trying to score with the clock stopped, going inside and challenging Scotland to play them. As you see, good shot here by Wellman, up in the face, gets blocked, comes back, stays with it, will grab the ball back and put it back up again and get fouled on the play. So he goes to the line for 2 shots. Wellman on the season, a 61% free throw shooter.
El Toro Hall getting the foul call there, so correct myself. Wellman at 61% on the year. You just mentioned that.
Yep.
48-31. Scotland on the lead.
The rule will be here that he'll make the second shot now.
You love predicting these. 6'3" junior.
Very easy. Knocks it down.
It's that shooting coach that comes out and you hear on the air.
We're percentage freaks. Coaches are percentage freaks by nature. Now Scotland's going to slow it up a little bit here too. You see him go real wide, and they're going to look to try to draw a double team and then try to get a back cut.
Here's Davis driving through, gets his own miss, works on Truxon. Now he deals it back out to Parker for a long 3.
Oh!
He's got 9.
Another world heard from. I think that was one of those that Gerald Wilson said. Everyone went, no, 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 no. Yeah, that's a good shot.
That was a big-time sling there.
Oh, that hurt.
Give and go. McElhaney throws it over Hall. Altered a shot. Rebound battled for, and it comes to White. McElhaney wide open going, wow, I haven't seen this much space down here in a while. His first points of the second half, he's got 13 on the game.
A little indecision down there on picking the ball by Arturo Hall, and he pointed himself going back and said, my fault, I should have grabbed that one. You don't want to get too fancy here. Nope.
Yes.
It's one of those, the coach in me says terrible shot. And they're saying, hey, coach, we're having too much fun right now. Can we keep doing this?
Little running teardrop in traffic that time, and they're rolling now by 19. McElhaney, no, got a push before. Going to be Chapman.
You know, you got to love the demeanor of the Scotland kids. They look like businessmen here who are having fun. They're off at lunch right now.
Well, they showed up focused today, Gary. That's the one thing. Sometimes they can get off the wrong, they can get on the wrong page, but not today. They have been sensational.
Saw Chapman trying to reach behind, pulls the hand back like he hit a hot stove.
McElhaney, a 91% foul shooter.
This is a 1-and-1, but it's almost like giving 2 away. That kind of day again for Kennedy Catholic. McElhaney, 91%. I think it's his first miss of the day.
5:42 left here in the fourth. Last loss for Kennedy Catholic, 1997. Okay.
39 in a row since then.
Western Regional, so Wickley beat them 51-50.
So it's been a long time since they've lost a playoff game.
39 in a row in the playoffs. McElhaney, top of the circle, bang.
McElhaney's ready to go home again, already back to 16. So now Scotland.
I don't know what the state record is, but that is pretty unreal. 39 in a row in the playoffs. Got a foul on Reimold. He's really frustrated. He's just a great talent, Gary. Just a lot of speed. He just has not been comfortable. There's been nothing open for him.
Well, you're playing a guy like Davis. You're coming out and trying to challenge him right now, and Davis knows he's quicker than Reimold is. That's how simple it is. He can break him down with a dribble anytime he wants to, and so Reimold fouls him. Now Davis goes to the line. Pretty good free throw shooter at 72%, too.
Has 8 points. Missed the front end. Reimold clears, and here comes McElhaney.
That's a percentage of play right now.
He's going to fire up a long three. Good again.
McElhaney says, saddle up, guys. I'll take you home. So he cuts it now to 13. So what was an exclamation point now becomes a question mark.
They've taken 6 points off that 19-point lead
in 20 seconds.
Driving through is Terrence Davis again. He has been the man today for the Cadets.
He's like the CEO of this team at the moment. He and Charles Davis say, let's restore a little order here on the other end, guys.
21 points for Davis as Reimold.
Got to go find your hot hand.
Dan White trying to get hot. His second in a row. He's got back-to-back threes here in the second half.
Gerald Wilson may call timeout fairly soon.
And it comes for Ruffin working. Still loose under there. And it comes away to Kennedy Catholic. Here comes McElhaney. Get him switching momentum. Reimold for three. Left it short. Big trip there for Kennedy Catholic. Comes up empty.
Here's the timeout I was talking about from Gerald Wilson.
He'll gather his troops over there on that Scotland bench. 55-43. Still a long way to go. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Delighted to have you. We're making television history today. And state history in the making. The 2002 PIAA State Championships televised across the Commonwealth, and the state leader for Scholastic Sports Programming, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Well, Mike Conti, that's his kind of crowd down there as we look at one replay. We'll go to him here momentarily, but here's White on the long three, wide open in the corner. And drains it, or Dan Harris. And here's McElhaney off the dribble from three-point land, and boom, they're right back in it. They were down 19. Let's go to Mike Conti. Mike?
Well, you take a look now at the Kennedy Catholic huddle, and it seems to be a little more upbeat in this huddle right now than it was moments ago. Their outside shooting is finally warming up. You're bound to make a run sometime in the second half, especially when you're struggling like Kennedy Catholic has. Let's keep something in mind about Scotland. Gary, you can attest to this. Scotland has really not even played a close game in the state playoffs up to this point. Does the lack of facing adversity maybe hurt you in this situation?
I really don't think so, Mike. I think Scotland right now has just got to be able to play the clock a little bit when they're in the half-court game. Kennedy Christian's got to think in terms of threes, but for Scotland in that time, and I'm sure what they were talking about is take care of Harris and take care of McElhaney. Do not leave them at any time to help. And now you're going to see Scotland start to play the clock a bit.
Peterson drives, give it up for Ruffin, draws the foul. Ooh, a jump ball is called, and the arrow gives it back to Kennedy Catholic.
Gerald Wilson just looked out and clapped hands as this man went up strong here, Ruffin. But what he's saying
he
is,
got all ball there. Doyle.
It's good call by the official.
McElhaney senses pressure from behind. Give it up for Reimold. Has it blocked. Davis still alive.
What control?
Give it up Parker, and a foul on Kennedy Catholic. It's going to be on Dan Harris.
You know, I'm so impressed with the imperturbability of this young man, Charles Davis. Look at this, under control, looking up the whole time, dishes off a pass ahead to his teammate, and forces nothing but a foul at the end. That's outstanding basketball.
Malik Parker will step to the line. You look at him. He's rail thin, pipe cleaner thin. He's got 11 points. Make it 12.
Got to tell you, Terrence Davis is the real scorer on this team, even though his average is slightly less than Charles Davis. But Charles Davis is the glue that makes this team go. The distributor, the passer, the guy that makes the best decisions, the real leader of the team. You can tell it in the way he carries himself out there.
Parker, a junior. He's now a 13.
Look at the way Scotland's playing now. They're coming like they're down 20 points. And what they want to do is they want to really make this team work man-to-man to try to get their offense going, take them out of their rhythm that they were in a moment ago.
That lead goes back to 14.
Got to stay with McElhaney. You're not going to see anybody leave him this time. It's being guarded by Jason Peterson.
Reimold, little turnaround is good. That breaks an 0 for 12 drought for Nolan Reimold. He now has 7. Peterson, long three, rattles out. Truxton's got the rebound.
Not the shot you want to be taking right now. I think Peterson will be coming out of the game in a moment. That was a poor decision that time, and at a really sensitive period of time. This is a huge possession for Kennedy Catholic.
The three can put him back into single digits.
Believe me, they're going to take nothing but the three here. Here it is.
It's McElhaney. He's got bounced by Peterson. Peterson's third, and that'll put him at the line.
So Peterson with a bad offensive possession on this end, and then a foul on the other end, and puts the best free throw shooter potentially at the line now.
Back comes Mike Chapman.
And Peterson goes out of the game. Chapman back in for him.
He'll sit next to Jerry Wilson, the head coach of Scotland.
Jerry Wilson's a really upbeat guy. I've never had a chance to meet him, and he's very good as far as the way he deals with all of his kids. I've never seen a coach that has been quite as friendly and yet keeps that good chasm between coach and player.
McElhaney is good on the front end. This will bring them back to within 10. They were down 19. Give and go for Ruffin for the easy 2.
That's a killer. You just got yourself back within 10, and then you get answered on the other end by trading points.
Ooh, they're lucky. Harris had that roll up his arm there.
What he did there, though, was legal. He kept the ball high and kept his hand on top, and that's what saved him.
Like to get Reimold loose. Left him open. Now Reimold drives, give and go. Truxton, head fake, and draws the foul.
I think what Truxton should have done there was just laid the ball in. He had the easy layup. He was going to get fouled anyway.
6'4" junior. He's big-time athletic. Look at Davis, like the space shuttle right out of the launching pad there.
Terrence Davis went flying. Like I said before, you know, if you want to fly, you join the Air Force. You want to play defense, stay down. Offense too, for the most part. Here's why you should have made the layup. You've got a guy at the free throw line here that's only a 48% shooter, the worst free throw shooter of the starting 5 out there.
Nine for Truxton.
Put the ball in the hands of, yeah, there you go. Mike Chapman has it. Now they're going to start to freeze it away. Here's the guy you want to have handling it right now.
Now you're starting to play the clock, not Kennedy Catholic, as Davis drives.
Yeah, see, the game's over now as far as playing Kennedy Catholic if you're Scotland and you're smart. You see Charles Davis, nice controlled shot down the lane.
Timeout. Kennedy Catholic, 61-48. It's a long struggle. I'll tell you, though, they have swung their way back in. They got it down to 10.
Champions have a way of doing that, and here you see Scotland coming back. Look at the control. Charles Davis, eyes up all the time, always looking to score or look for other opportunities. That time his opportunity was to score. Dodges a body, lays it over top, huge basket, and as you said, Jed, they're starting to play the clock now. They're no longer playing Kennedy Catholic.
Gary, they have been flashing and slashing into that lane so confidently throughout this whole game. That's been their whole deal today.
The name of basketball, the simple aim of basketball is to get more shots to the other team and get better shots to the other team. Scotland has done that all afternoon by creating with their defense, putting pressure on the defense of Kennedy Catholic to get back, and getting better shots and good inside looks with layups on conversions all day long. And then when you get back in the half court, they penetrate, kick it out to someone like Davis, and he hits a three. So they've shown a lot of different ways to score on you throughout the day, but they've gotten better shots and better quality shots all day long.
What's Scotland talking about down there? They're up 13. They're really in control of this whole deal right now.
He's talking about what you talked about a moment ago, which is we are done playing Kennedy Catholic today unless we get layups. Okay, we'll take layups only, but basically we want to hang on to the ball, put it in the hands of Davis, put it in the hands of Chapman, put it in the hands of Terrence Davis, and we're going to take this thing home. On the other side, if you're Tim Loomis, you're saying we think only in threes now. Everything we're going to do is a three-point shot. There won't be any twos taken. And Scotland says you're not going to take any clean threes on us. Look at the tight defense. They're going to take a three. It's going to be from about 25 feet.
Not much time remaining. Parker, great play by Harris, but a better play by Parker to leave Davis free.
That's the signature point there. Too much to overcome. This is unbelievable defense here against the three.
Harris in the corner, missed that one. Truxton battling. Hall's got it. Davis to Parker. Give it up to Terrence Davis. Sweeps in left-handed. 23 for Terrence Davis.
Problem now is when you miss the three-point shot, you miss it short, it's like the outlet on a fast break.
Game, set, match. Under a minute to go. Sensational performance today by Scotland. McElhaney left it short. Rebound to Parker. He winds the dribble. Terrence Davis trying to go under and rebound to Rimo. Or to Doyle, rather. Long three by Harris. Davis sends out Parker. Parker all the way and good.
Seems like we've seen that a few times today. What an outstanding day Scotland's had. Just get the ball and throw it, and they know right where their people are going to be.
The drive for 5 has stalled here in Chocolatetown. Their first loss since 1997, and Scotland's going to win their first gold since 1995. Truxton drives baseline.
Young man, it's got a future, though.
Give it up. Davis flying through.
Just a repeat, a repeat, a repeat. It's a state championship for Scotland.
They were most impressive throughout the entire state tournament, as Mike Conti aptly pointed out. They were never threatened until the Eastern final. Lebanon Catholic stayed close with them into the fourth quarter. But this team, even with an 8 or 9 point lead, the way they just make you work every inch of the floor, Gary, it just, a 9 point lead against these guys feels like it's 29.
They wear you out mentally. They wear you out physically. They put pressure on you all the time. And frankly, Kennedy Catholic could play this team 10 times, and 10 times you get the same result. And I have great respect for Kennedy Catholic's program.
Big time.
Certainly the end of a really great run for them. But they were beaten today solidly by a better team. And Mike Conti posed the question, how would a team like Scotland react if they were pushed a little bit? Mike, do you have the answer yet?
No. I'll tell you what, Kennedy Catholic coming into this game, I think a lot of people expected to see a coronation today. They were going for their 5th straight state championship. That's never been done before, I should say, and it will not be done this year. But Scotland, take a look at their final results here in the East bracket. 92-45 over Mansfield, 59-48 over Nativity, 76-44 over Seton Catholic, and then over Lebanon Catholic, 61-56, 69-50 today. This Scotland school was challenged only once, essentially, and that was in the East Final. What a dominant tournament performance by the Cadets of Scotland.
A tour de force today. Terrence Davis ended up with 25 points. Charles Davis had 12. 9 guys, and they just kept flying, and their fans are thrilled. For Kennedy Catholic, and you see the joy of winning a gold. It's not the end of an era because these guys have a really interesting nucleus coming back, but Dan McElhaney and Nolan Reimold will graduate and move on, as well as Doyle. So the drive for 5, it did materialize, but I mean, this program won 4 in a row, Gary, which is pretty unbelievable.
Well, the fact that you had a chance for a drive at 5 is impressive. And you look at Kennedy Catholic, they will be back. Tim Loomis has the start of another great program there and the start of another era. On the other side, Scotland, they have a system. Gerald Wilson has really gotten a system his kids believe in. He's got kids that can run the court. We saw it this afternoon. And let's go to Bob Schellenberg for the announcement of the awards.
Conducting the award ceremony, head coach Tim Loomis to present the medals. We start with Brandon Marizio, Dan McElhaney, Phil Doyle, Dan Harris, Corey Whitway, Ramon Truxon, Nolan Reimold, Seamus Reimold, Mike Alabak, Craig Wellman, James Kalenda, Anthony DeCarbo, Justin Gottner, Alberta Candy, Chris Harris, manager Craig Searsack, manager Andy Williamson, their chaplain Father John Beckman, assistant coach Rick McGee, assistant coach George Burich, and Golden Eagle head coach Tim Loomis. And now we'd ask that Dan McElhaney, Phil Doyle, Corey Whitway, and Nolan Reimold, if you'll please step forward. At this time, Kennedy Catholic is being presented with the PIAA Boys Single A runner-up trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the Golden Eagles of Kennedy Catholic. And now let's meet the 2002 PIAA Boys Class A champion, the Cadets from the Scotland School for Veterans Children. Head coach Jerry Wilson to present the medals. District 3 Chairman, Mr. Jim Ellingsworth, conducting the award ceremony. We begin with Malik Parker, Lamar Anthony, George Brown, Quinn Savoy, Terrence Davis, Mike Chapman, Willie Oxendine, Charles Davis, Jason Peterson. Dan White. Malik Wright. Al Toro Hall. Aaron Roberts. Jamal Ruffin. Angelo Washington. Their manager, Lance Harden. Joe Smith. Tamir Hodges. Alex Wilkowski. And Thomas Hubitz. Cameraman Nate Perry. Cadet assistant coach Randy Taylor. Scotland athletic director Ralph Dussman. And the head coach of the Scotland Cadets, Jerry Wilson. And now, with Charles Davis, Terrence Davis, Michael Chapman, and Altoro Hall, please come forward as Mr. Ellingsworth presents Scotland with the 2002 PIAA Class A Championship Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, the cadets from the Scotland School for Veteran Children.
Well, the first new single A champion since 1997. Kennedy Christian, now Kennedy Catholic, had a stronghold on it for the last 4 years, and the drive for 5, as we said, stalls here this afternoon against really a great Scotland team. The cadets were sensational, winning, going away 69-50. And again,
Single A boys basketball is alive and well in Pennsylvania.
Sure is,
Seven of the last 9 years, these two teams have won the championship. It talks a lot about their programs. They'll be back again. But today it was too much Scotland, too much speed. And Kennedy Catholic, I think, knew it. And they'll go back to the drawing board. Scotland, who knows? You got a lot of people graduating this year. But, again, they don't rebuild. I think they just replace. And they'll be back here again soon as well.
We're through the afternoon session in AA girls. Earlier this afternoon, Vincentian down Trinity, 45-37. Scotland roars to a 69-50 win against Kennedy Catholic. Coming up next here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, Pennsylvania's championship network, a replay of a special game that we did back in the month of December, with Harrisburg High going up against Artesian in California here at the arena. That'll be between our sessions. Tonight at 6, great session tonight. Oakland Catholic, Cumberland Valley, and girls quad A for the championship there. And then it's Kennett and West Mifflin in the boys AAA title tilt. For Gary Sutton, Mike Conti, our WITF production crew, and the great folks at the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Thanks to everybody here at the arena with the PIAA. Scotland wins it in single A, 69-50. To break Kennedy Christian's and Catholic's 4-year hold on the single A championship. We'll see you tonight at 6. Until then, good afternoon, everyone.
You've been watching PCN's exclusive coverage of boys PIAA